might be emotionally attached to someone because of time,
not because of love anymore.
You're familiar with each other. You spend so many years together. Maybe you're not longer in love, but hey, we're not just going to close the chapter there. How do you ignite the spark? How do you reconnect back with your spouse, your partner, just so that you can keep that love burning fire?
And to help us in the conversation, to join us and provide expertise on the conversation, we have the beautiful, demure looking, very stylish, Ashoke influenced Coach Toby.
Yes, Coach Toby is going to be diving into us. Let's give you a little bit of
a little bit of backstory.
A little bit of backstory. So, of course, like I already said, she's a marriage and relationship counselor and mind therapist as well, which, many years of experience, spoken to thousands of couples.
So when you say mind therapist, I can tell her everything that is going on with me and she will have answers.
We'll ask her.
You'll be like,
ask her, but I'm sure she's capable of that.
You could join us live on YouTube, Super FM Lagos, Instagram and X as well, Super FM Lagos. Don't forget, if you don't have a radio, you don't even need one. You don't need a car to have a radio now. You don't need to have the big stereo box to have a radio now. It's gone digital. And this beautiful art form, we've put it on a website, superfm.online. Share with your friends, share with your family members, tell your enemies. If there's someone you know that's in a relationship that you suspect might not be going well, tell them to listen. We might be dropping one or two gems that might help them rekindle the relationship or encourage them to move on.
You might as well just break things up
and just start afresh at
don't
once.
Call our names,
no, we're not the one that will be responsible for your relationship not working. No. And also, this is very important. If you have questions, any question that's relating to your love life, your relationship, even though we might be talking about a particular topic, which is, are you still in love with your partner or are you just familiar and comfortable? But if you have any question that's regarding your relationship, something you and your partner experiencing, you think you're struggling with, you probably maybe cannot afford a therapist, but you want to talk to somebody about it and you are really, really interested in working on that relationship, this opportunity is definitely for you.
Golden one.
Definitely for you. Tell them where they can reach us, baby.
Well, you can send us a message on WhatsApp 0705 6900 927.
Or you could call us on 0802 502 7711. You know what? It's about damn time. So don't go anywhere. Coach Toby comes in a couple of minutes. Launch day begins very, very soon. Love, relationships,
and everything in between.
92.7.
every of the day.
We're live. Butterflies in my
Your
belly.
love, they give me fever.
So we had a bit tea time with Coach Toby.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit backstory.
Of the romantic relationship.
Yeah, then went back to, is it back to Street Boys?
Yeah.
They're giving us some great songs. Some Westlife.
Took us-
I lay my love on you.
Took us 17 years ago. I'm trying to
You
remember
know.
what must have been the love songs that would be raining that that must have been raining that time.
But
But
it's
it's
good to
truly
have you
spectacular
here.
to have you
Welcome,
here in the
welcome.
studio.
Thank you.
Welcome. You look demure, you look beautiful, and
She has
you-
composure.
she has composure. And that was the word for today. That's the word we
That's
shared
what
with
we
our family
shared with our
members
family.
today. So today we're talking about something that we think affects a lot of people in relationships. And I must be honest about this. When I heard that you were coming, I was going to speak about my parents with this. I think they got to a place where they were just tolerating each other.
Yeah.
Right? You know, love can get there sometimes. And that's what I found interesting about the reason why you got into this. Being curious, loving it so much that you were curious to finding a solution.
Yeah.
And that led you to this journey that we are on here right now. So feel so fine. Please tell them why we are here today.
Of course. I mean, you know, it's lunch dates, and lunch dates, we try to help people who are single find love.
Yeah.
And while that is going on, we also like to talk about things, you know, about love, dating, relationship,
And
helping-
everything in between.
Yeah, we're helping our young people, every generation, millennial, Gen Z,
Baby boomers.
navigate the complexities of dating, especially because the world is changing. And so there are a lot of curious minds. And sometimes things can get familiar. They'll say the honeymoon phase, starts to dwindle down. And it's not like we're familiar with each other. What's it that I've not seen you
We are
once?
now, there's a word I used for it yesterday. We are now legally obliged roommates.
You know, so what then happens when people are either they are still in love? So what are the signs? I think that's how I put it up to you yesterday. I was like, what are the signs that someone knows that, okay, is this really love that's making me stay back, or is it a routine where it's just become, as I wake up in the morning, I brush my teeth, I know I had to cook food for my husband because
Yeah.
he's my husband, take the kids to school because they are my kids? Or is it, you know, how do we ignite that spark back? How do we, you know, people know that they're just stuck? So for those who are not married, they're just stuck in a relationship where it's just familiar time. We've been together for 6 years. I spent almost my life with
And he
this
has not
guy.
proposed.
Are you sure I should leave? So there's not be there. You don't know people are
Lord of the Rings. I guess the question is, how do you know that you're still in love and it's not just a routine?
Yes.
Okay, so I think that there are different types of love because a lot of times we feel like, love is just the butterflies, the excitement, the passion,
That's
and
infatuation,
everything.
yeah.
And it's okay, it's part of love actually, and it's very good for you to have. In fact, I always say that that's like the icing on the cake, but that's not the cocoa.
That's not the
itself,
cake.
you know. But the icing beautifies the cake.
Exactly.
So you still want the icing. And so when we have to look at love holistically, like love, there is that's the eros love,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
romantic love, which is very important. But we also have the philia, like the affectionate love between friends and all that. And then we have the agape, which
Yes.
is the committed love.
Exactly.
And all those ones matter as well. So sometimes when we are not feeling the butterflies and all that, we feel like love is gone. It's not actually gone. It's just
It's just a particular type of love that you're not expressing
you're
now.
not experiencing
Yeah,
it. And that's okay. So, but if you know, all those ones that I've shared has to do with trust, has to do with respect, has to do with commitment and all that. So once those ones are still there, you know that I'm still in love with this person.
yeah.
But then you want the other one too. That's the romantic love. You still want it because it's good for the relationship. So that's the one that you now start fanning, back into flame. Like maybe all these aboki suya guys, you see them fanning. And sometimes you look at the charcoal and it still feels like, okay, is hot, but you know that it's already going
it's
down.
dwindling,
And it's not going to
yes.
cook this stuff. And so what you are meant to do, what they do, you see them fanning it, and that's what we must keep doing in relationship. We must fan the love back We must, back
Ignite that
into
spark.
ignite the fire.
Passion.
That spark.
So there are different ways in which we can do that. I should go ahead.
Yes, you can, please. Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
Okay. So I think that one of the major reasons why that happens
Yeah.
is lack of intentionality.
We
We take love for granted. We just feel like, oh, I love this person. He loves me. She loves me, and that's it.
Yeah.
So we just feel like it will run by itself. It will work by itself. So a lot of us, we get complacent and we're not doing anything about it.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you will just see that everything has faded, everything has gone to the background, and you move to routine. So that's what makes us
Move to
into the
routine and habit.
routine.
Yeah.
So what you can now do is you are intentionally doing things that you started doing when the love was, was on fire.
I think
so.
I-
You wanted to say
things that you did when you were still trying to get this person. When this person
Yeah,
hadn't said
yeah.
yes. When
Yeah.
this person hadn't said yes.
all those chasing, pursuing that you were doing, especially the men, and even for the ladies too, the things that you were doing, because you see a lot of them, going out of their way to dress up, to do things. But now we see finish don't enter now. You dress
Exactly.
anyhow. You just
After
come on
3
with
Just
like
put
that.
net. Tie rapper. This is me.
Whether in a relationship or marriage,
Yeah.
is still the same. So you ensure that you are intentionally doing those things that attracted you to each other.
Yeah.
You're not
Sorry about that.
neglecting
Yeah.
them. Excuse me. Yeah, and then communication. A lot of times, I feel like I think that, or I know that communication is what holds everything together. And what happens is that because we are so familiar with each other, after
Yeah.
a while, we are just having transactional conversations, like bills, like work,
Children's
School fees, house rent, food in the
just
house,
food in the
yeah.
house, just those, basic things that no deep stuff, or
Yeah.
just
have.
surface, and those ones won't help your relationship. Those are the routines, and you just have to do them, which is okay, because life has to go on.
Yeah.
But you now have to find time, that
Make out
occasional
time.
check-in with each other. No, not occasional, periodic.
Periodic.
Of regular check-in.
Up to date. I have
Yeah,
to stay up to date.
yeah.
with what's happening.
So you can even being intentional can be like, we even plan it like every day. At the end of the day, we spend so time together. At this time, distraction free, no
phones, no technology,
no
none of
TV
that. Yeah.
possible, because sometimes we feel we are spending time together.
But we are watching movie.
We are watching movies, so
Chilling.
we are
Exactly.
we are just enjoying the movie and not each other.
Yeah.
So sometimes you have to shut everything down
Yeah.
and just gist
Creates the time
and
for
talk.
each other. Yeah.
And that's so important to every relationship, because that's quality time is what nurtures the most the relationship. So and what you do when you're having those conversations is you're looking into each other's eyes. You are having those deep conversations. The other person is actively listening. There's active listening, because a lot of us don't know how to listen. We are listening to respond. We are listening to just say our own too. This was all what happened my own day too. Or maybe they've said something and you really want to defend yourself. So you're already thinking about your response instead of listening to the person. And so what you have to do is learn how to listen actively. So you take turns to ask. Another thing I've realized in communication is that people tend to report just the events. Like, so I'm gisting you about my day, and I'm just saying, oh, so I went to this place. When I got to work, this was what happened, and that's it. But what makes us go on a deeper level, for me to really know what's going on the inside of you, is really your feelings.
How you felt
How
about
you
the day's events.
So you need to express that. And if your spouse is, or your maybe
Your partner, yeah.
is not the one that will readily share, you ask. And that's where asking open-ended question comes in.
Yeah.
So how did you feel about this? This and that.
How
So-
did that make you feel?
and
How,
that's
yeah.
intentionality,
Yeah.
because these are not the normal,
It's not the-
natural things you will do.
Mhm,
So you just glaze through conversations and all that. But when you now ask, and so you're serious, as in, wow. So how did you feel? And they now offer their feelings. So you are getting to know them. John Gottman called it building love maps, and I like to say it a lot, because building love maps is like you are trying to get to know their inner world, what is going on with their dreams, their goals, their feelings, and everything. And it's part of what is a major thing that really brings creates the bond and connection. So you ask them all those open-ended questions, and once both of you take turns in doing that. So communication is one thing that can bring you back to bring back that spark.
Back that spark in a
love,
relationship.
that passion and everything, because you get to know them, and then you're more interested in what is going on. And then maybe surprises here and there, dating, gifts, all those things.
Shared activities.
I love gifts.
For sure.
Yeah.
So you'd say gift receiving is your love language.
Yeah, so I was going to say that maybe I should put it like speaking your partner's
love language.
language.
You know something that's interesting, sorry to hold you there, is when I was having a conversation with her, and I was also having a conversation with another friend of mine, that's Love from Love and Lamba, I discovered, and I don't know if this was documented before, that there's love giving language and there's love receiving language. There's the normal love language is words of affirmation, acts of service, gifts giving, and all of that. There's the one that we predominantly like to do for people, and there's the one that we like to receive from people, and sometimes they are not the same. There's my love giving language could be physical touch. There's the way I show you that the way I show Sophie so fine.
And I don't like that.
The way I would show someone that I love them is, maybe we're outside, I'd hold your hand, I like hugs, and I like all of that. But the way I like to receive love is maybe I like gifts. I don't know if that makes sense to you. So I was just
happens. It happens, though most of the time it's usually that you tend to show love the way you want to receive love.
Exactly.
That's most of the time. But of course, there are some people that
it differs
it
from.
differs. Once you and that's where self-awareness comes in. Self-awareness is very important in relationships. Very important. So you need to know yourself and know what you love, know what you don't like, know your strengths, your weaknesses, and all that. So when you know it is easy to be able to teach your partner how to love you.
Exactly.
Yes. I like that you said that, because what I've also learned is that it's not you showing or giving your partner how you want to be loved, how you want to love them, but instead
how
it's you
they
being
want to be
intentional
loved.
about how do they want to be loved. That's how I should love them. And the first thing that you even said in speaking about bringing back the spark, igniting the spark, is intentionality. And that's what I always say to him, right, when we have to have conversations about relationship, because that what makes it very different, and that what makes it dynamic for every relationship. If I have chosen this person as my friend or as my partner, I have to be intentional about keeping it going. And just like you said, you can't leave a vehicle. Maybe I want to go to Ibadan and I just don't check the fuel tank. Is it a full tank I'm going with? And I just say, no, I just feel that this fuel should carry me to Ibadan. Let's be driving. Something can happen on the way. If I didn't check the car service, the engine can break. Anything can happen on the way. And so it means that we have to be intentional about doing things that will ignite this love going. Because one part of the love, which is what you explained, the romantic part, which people think or rely on butterflies to keep it going for 10 years, 5 years.
It doesn't last that long.
It doesn't
2
last
years.
that long.
According to research.
2 years.
2 years.
6 months to 2 years.
Is that even the honeymoon phase?
Yeah. That's
2 years.
That's the most.
So from
that's the highest.
Wow. So if you're going to be married to somebody, say for the rest of your life, but let's say that rest of your life now is 20 years in. I'm just envisioning 20 years in. So for 2 years, you are going to experience the whole.
It doesn't have to be 2 years old. That's why I said 6 months.
So sometimes even 6
From
months.
the onset of the relationship,
Wow.
not from when you got married.
Wow.
Exactly.
Okay, so from when you started, let's say from when you started
the
dating this
courtship,
person,
yes.
that's me and this person, we are now dating. We've agreed that there's feelings here.
Exactly.
From that till
Count it.
2 years or 6 months.
6 months or
2 years.
to 2 years.
So the remaining of that, you now have to go into bank
You are
on
doing the work.
the real work,
Yeah.
the philia,
Yeah.
the agape
No, it's
love.
not as if you can't find. So
That's what you said. You talked about the activities you have to do
You have to
intentionality.
intentionally now make it happen, make those feelings come back.
And you know
But
that's
they,
where
they won't even come back in that intensity. Because what even happens is that when you're having those feelings, right? A part of your brain, don't let me go too scientific, but let me just mention this.
Yeah.
That's the prefrontal cortex
yeah,
and the amygdala. Those
Yeah.
are the logical
that are
part of-
triggered. Yeah.
No, they are shut down.
Ooh.
So during that process, you can't do much. You are just thinking about this person. You're in cloud 9.
So you're saying
So those logical part of your brain,
Wow.
those ones that that are like the
Reason.
reason. Those ones that control fear, aggression, they are shut down. So you are trusting. You are just in love.
So you're saying when you are in love, actually,
nine is
chemically and scientifically, when you are in love, the part of your brain that has to do with reason
Reason.
and let's say logic
Logic.
is dulled down just a little bit.
Yeah.
If not,
Shut down.
Shut
If
down.
not shut down.
Yeah.
shut down.
At that point, you don't listen to anybody.
Yeah,
Say love
that's
is
why-
blind.
yeah,
that's why-
you
so
are
that-
only seeing
That's
that
why
person.
somebody will be telling you that,
You're
this person does
clouded.
not really, their job, they're not really working.
And you're
though.
responsible, but I love him.
I will
It's
stand to the
fine.
ends
I
of the
love
earth
him.
with
You
you.
can't see.
Do you love me?
You know, I was going to make a video about
Bridgerton.
why I was going to make a video about why your single friends literally are the ones that give the best advice when you're in a relationship.
Because they see the blind
Because,
spot.
yeah,
they are not in love with
They are
you.
not
They see the
clouded.
blind spot. This guy doesn't make enough money. You are the one that told us that this is your standard. So
What happened?
So what
You can't
happened?
see it, though.
You
That
can't-
part is shut
Wow.
down.
Fantastic. I was going to ask something, right? Where or at what point do we mistake comfort from connection?
that's
You
comfort.
know,
That's
you
being
get comfortable with someone. Does that mean there is a connection that can lead us to marriage or to a relationship? Because you can get comfortable with your best friend. We're speaking all the time. We're sharing things with each other, and so we're so familiar. We're so comfortable. Like, this is my guy. What's it that he doesn't know about me? I'm comfortable around him. He's comfortable around me. Is that not a connection we should build?
Yeah, so I think that both matters. So if you are very comfortable around, of course, you have to be comfortable around the person you're going to get married to anyway. The person you love, you have to be vulnerable with the person, open with the person. Without that, there's no love. But you still, even with the comfort, you still have to maintain the connection. It has to be there. So how am I feeling about this person? So you go back to still look at, okay, do this person, am I this person, am I like always, is this my first go-to, am I free to share things with this person? So you check all those feelings as well. But at the same time, when it comes to marriage, I think that one of the most important things is you need to check are your values, do they align?
Okay.
So while you are checking, okay, yeah, we gist, we talk, if your values align, if you know your why, you know your purpose, and though the love is there, the feelings are there, I mean, you can go ahead.
You can explore
So,
that.
yeah, but you should actually be comfortable with the
with
person.
the person. Yeah.
But not like you are just comfortable with the person and there's no excitement, there's really nothing anymore, and everything has just died down, and you are not even willing to try. Nothing is really like willing to try. Maybe this one is just meant to stay on friendship level.
That's
Let's
true,
not
that's
explore
true.
something else.
I have a question, and I'll ask the question, and then when we come back, you give me the answer. Butterfly is not at 100%. Let's say it's at 65%, 70%. But you guys have a shared goal. Say it is to buy a house, to build a business together, to establish something together.
They're sort of compatible.
Yes, there's some sort of compatibility. Do you think that is enough grounds to say you want to spend the rest of your life with someone?
Well, I think I get your question.
Do you know what I'm saying?
think I get
You don't
your
have
question.
the
So maybe the
butterflies.
attraction
Yeah.
is not the
It's
first
not-
It's
thing.
not. It's
Yeah,
not
that's
a
really
100%.
Yeah, it's not.
This is not somebody.
So there's
that,
not that excitement that, oh my God, it's because I'm attracted to this girl, I want to go speak to her or
But
him.
you guys have maybe you have goals, there's you guys have values that align. You want to start business together, you want to establish something that is going to better both of your lives. Do you think that compatibility outweighs that excitement that comes with, oh, I'm in love with this person every day, oh, I dream about you, you're the one I because
Yeah,
you know that there are
yeah.
people that have that,
Yeah,
and they don't have the
other one.
compatibility.
If you were to choose one,
That's what I'm
probably
saying.
you should choose the
Compatibility.
compatibility, the values
Over-
aligning.
Yeah,
Because,
yeah.
like we said, 6 months to 2 years,
It
will
don't
fade.
win.
So it's fleeting.
So-
Feelings are fleeting. So if you now you can't even. When I'm teaching my clients, reasons why you should get married, I always tell them, I said, love is not enough reason, and the love I'm talking about is the errors.
Yeah, the
It's
Eros
not
love. Yeah.
that excitement and all is not enough reason to get married. In fact, I put it out there. So this question that you asked, I
Yeah.
let them know that if this is what you
Yeah, you're
decided
getting married to this
get
person.
married to this person,
It
you're
will
on the
fail
wrong
you.
path.
Because 6 months to 2 years
It
is
will
gone.
fade. It will fade away. You now put in the work. So if there's nothing else holding you, you will not be willing to put in the work. That you won't be.
There's
you,
no
you won't be
substance.
motivated
That's
to
true.
be committed to put in the work you need to put in and to do the things you need to do. But when you have shared values, not as if there's no attraction at
No,
all.
no,
Like the
not that,
person
yeah.
is. is repelling. You are repelled by the person.
Of course, there was something that you even
Yeah,
saw in the person
in the person,
physically that
yeah.
made you say, oh, I like this person. Let's have
Because
it.
some people they will say, this person she's ugly or he's not fine at all. But I just think that, or maybe God is telling me, you must still be attracted to the person.
Because I even want to believe that if you're gonna choose somebody that you want to spend the rest of your life with, at least you should be excited to wake up to this person in the morning.
Not that
Because
you
that's somebody
just
you're
wake
going
up
to.
and be like, hey!
You wake up and first, okay, sorry, I'm married.
So you know what? Let's go on a break and have a good laugh. I hope you're also having a good laugh with us.
Yeah.
We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. 92.7.
Super FM. And if you have questions, please send your questions to 0705 6900 927.
Best you can be is never enough. Be super. 92.7.
Politics Now, the program that keeps
And we have Coach Toby right here with us. By the way, just to give them a little backstory, she looks beautiful, she looks good, she sounds good. But guess what is even mind-busting? She's been married for 17 years. And you wouldn't even know it. So I say this to say that she has the experience that's doing it herself. And the reason why she's even talking about these things is because she was intrigued by the idea of love, how to keep romance alive, and even in her own relationship. And she went forth to learn all the tools required to do that. And that's what she's sharing with us here today. Thank you very much for being here with us.
Thank you for having
We have a
me.
question here from a family member. Some of these questions, I hope you don't have a headache by the time you are going. After 5 years of my marriage, my husband and I barely have meaningful conversations. We just go through the motions daily. Am I still in love or am I just comfortable? I want to know. And guess what? Do you know what's even interesting? This family member is listening all the way from Kano. Her name is Aisha.
Oh,
Aisha, all the
Hi,
way from Kano.
Aisha.
Hi, Aisha, by the way.
Welcome. Thank you so much for your message.
Thank you so much for your message.
Coach Toby, over to you.
okay. So we've talked about some of these things.
Yeah,
earlier-
already, yeah.
earlier on that. So you guys barely have conversations because you probably left things for,
For nature to do its thing
Yeah.
by itself.
and so what we have to start doing is let's see how we can get back the spark. So maybe you've been too comfortable really, and now you have to now put in the work. Like I said, marriage cannot be done on autopilot. You cannot, a lot of things can, but when it comes to marriage, it has to be done manually. So what you have to do is, what are the things? So we were talking about self-awareness earlier,
Yeah.
and I think that's the first step. Self-awareness. What is it that I have noticed? What is it that I don't like? What it is that is happening right now? What used to happen before that is no more happening? What is my own contribution
to
to
that.
this?
Yeah.
Where we are now was my own contribution. So when you become self-aware, you can now start, okay, how was my husband's own contribution as well? What can we do and all that? So when you've settled that, you already know how those conversations will go and what the things you should do. Then you go and have the conversation. That's where communication still comes
Yeah,
in. We
yeah.
talked about how important communication
Communication is, yeah.
That's the oil, for the engine of marriage. So you go and have the conversation, you have a sit down, and okay, I think that this is where we are now. This is not where we used to be. I mean, when we just got married, we used to know. Now 5 years down the line, we barely have conversations, deep stuff. I've told my husband that before. When we just go, a few years after marriage, I said, we don't talk about deep stuff
Anymore.
we just talk, just in fact after that conversation, he started calling me deep stuff. deep stuff.
Deep stuff. How are you doing?
Maybe we are just talking, we just say deep talk.
Oh, that's cute.
So
that's cute.
you have to have the conversation. Then you have to keep having it. Well, not that exact conversation,
Yeah,
but you
but-
have to now keep checking in. We talked about
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
So the daily check-ins, the weekly check-ins, the monthly check-ins, and you have to intentionally do this. Some people will say, we just talk as it comes.
Yeah.
Sometimes you plan it. Every Friday night,
We are having this.
we are having this. It's just you and me. And
Question cards.
if possible, use question
Yeah,
cards.
yeah.
And if you don't want to use question card, make sure it's open-ended question. You're not asking, so how are you now?
I'm fine.
I'm fine. That's it.
Nah, I'm fine. What do you think I am?
So you ask open-ended questions
Yeah.
and be ready to listen. We talked about active listening as well. So when somebody knows that you're truly listening, you are truly interested, they want to keep talking. So they are open to you, vulnerable and all that. And then you are not, of course, being critical.
Yeah,
and that's
exactly.
very important as well. Because a lot of people, a lot of couples, people have stopped communicating the way they should, not because, but because I don't want issues. Or this person is going to start to say this, say that,
Yeah.
criticize me or use it against
Me later in future.
in
Yeah,
the
yeah,
future.
yeah.
And so they don't want to have those conversations. So you ensure that all those barriers are removed, all those blockages.
Yeah.
Interesting.
are remote.
Yeah, I think you said something yesterday on the show about and just to point back to the communication part, because most times, maybe because of how men are built, they're mostly the quiet ones. An argument is going on. It's probably a woman who wants to hatch it now. No,
Yeah.
I want to talk about it. No, she's still going on and on and on. And the man is just like, no, I don't want to talk about it. I want to go. So we could have two different personalities
Yeah.
like that. One wants to not talk about
We
it
always
later.
do.
The avoider and
lady's
the
like,
confronter.
yeah.
no, I want to.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
think that on the active listening part, maybe for the man, most times it could just be, okay, you want to talk, yeah, talk, but he's not listening.
Yeah.
He already just feels that or assumes that I know what she wants to say now, would not. But if you are actively listening to like, okay, let me calm down, hear what you have to say. Because I think in that moment, let her speak. Let her say all that she wants to say. But be actively listening, not to respond,
Yeah,
not to
but
react,
to
not
understand.
to confirm what you are saying is right and she's wrong,
Yeah.
but to exactly to understand where she's
Where
coming
she's
from.
and
Where
to
the-
validate, to be able to validate
Exactly.
You mentioned a
feelings.
very, very important word now, and the book I told you I was reading, the
Yeah.
Mars and Venus. He mentioned that as one of the challenges that relationships face, that people don't validate themselves in relationships. Sometimes, especially with the masculine gender, we are wired to provide solutions.
provide solutions.
So your woman is telling you about this is what, and
You
in
wanna
your
fix
mind
it.
is, okay, let's go. This is what we
This
do,
is
and
what
then
you
this
should
is
do.
immediately, then we bring this thing from there, and then
So sorry to cut you.
No, it's fine.
This actually happened in my marriage.
Oh,
At a
wow.
particular, I always remember this one.
yeah.
So this particular day, I got back from work tired, fagged out, and everything. And I'm telling my husband, can you imagine this person did not show up today? And they're saying that the other colleague said he has left. Like, and he's a
I'm
key
not
staff.
understanding.
And he's a key staff.
Oh.
And then because the previous week somebody else left, so I'm just sharing, I'm tired, and the next thing my husband says is that, oh wow, are you serious? Your attrition rate is really high these days. I think that we should
We should what?
seriously attrition rate.
We should
That's
what?
what I'm talking about.
I just want you to listen to me.
No, he's already
His
for
mind is
solution, whatever.
oriented.
You know,
mind
a lot
and-
of people were not happy with Steve Harvey when he brought out "Act Like a Man, Think Like a Man" too, because he sort of revealed some secrets and how
Yeah,
a
yeah,
man
yeah.
thinks and how a man acts. So
Yeah.
there was an example he gave where he got this guy got his girl a yellow T-shirt for her birthday, and she wore it to work, and her colleague that she doesn't like wore that same shirt, the same color. When she got home and she said, "Baby, you won't believe what happened." Well, let me hold that story. We've got a call here. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good
afternoon.
afternoon. How you doing?
Good afternoon. I'm doing well, man. You guys are lifesavers.
Oh, tell us why. Tell us why. Tell us why.
So my name is Michael.
Okay.
I'm driving to the island right now from the mainland. Me and my wife had a conversation earlier today. We've been married for about 5 years, I guess. And so we were having a conversation earlier today because she was talking about me doing more around the house. And I told her, hey, you know what my job is like? I have a lot of pressure too. But then I just noticing what she had to do while I was around. And and listening to this conversation, I see that sometimes when she's even saying those things, she just wants me to listen. I always want to just jump on and say, oh, this is how we should go about it, or this is how I think you should handle it. Well, sometimes, like from what you're saying now, just listen attentively and maybe just be a shoulder to lean on and not give an opinion on how to solve the situation. But then, how do I then know when I have to, pile on and say, this is okay, so yeah, I've listened to you, and okay, it's what am I supposed to say? And then in cases when she actually wants me to give her a solution, how do I tell the difference? That's my dilemma right now.
All right. Thank you
Interesting.
so
Thank you so
much,
much,
Michael,
Michael.
for calling into the show. Wonderful.
That's a very interesting
Yeah,
one.
that's a good question. Yeah, by asking. That's,
I was thinking the same thing too. I was thinking the same
that's
thing.
the way by asking. So do you just want me to be there for you, as in to just hear you out?
You want me to
or
listen
do
to
you want
you?
me to
Help you with
help
this
you
thing.
with this?
Yeah.
And sometimes maybe you are not, is not the conversation is not appropriate at that particular time. You can just give a shoulder to cry on or whatever at that time, and then later For instance, the example I gave,
attrition
he could
rate.
have come by, as in just maybe hug me at that time and just say, "Oh, sorry,
Aw.
do you want some water? Just come and sit," stuff like that. And maybe, and then maybe later come back to say, "Okay, what do you think that you want to do about the attrition rate?" So sometimes it's the timing. It's not as if
Yeah.
we still don't want that
Yeah,
solution,
yeah.
but the timing might be wrong. So first validate feelings.
Validation, man.
That validation is always very important. And we've said a lot of guys don't know how to validate feelings. I'm not generalizing because I don't like generalizing. Some women too are like that.
Yeah, yeah.
But we need to validate feelings. You might not understand. Don't seek to agree. You might not agree, but still, just try to understand where they are coming from. This is her feelings. This is his feelings. His feelings are valid to him or to her.
Yes.
So irrespective of whether you agree with it or not. So once you learn that, you are not in a hurry to
give your own opinion.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it.
Yeah.
I like that you say his feelings or her feelings are valid, because when couples understand that, and when there are arguments, we're not arguing to be against each other.
Yeah.
We're arguing because we're two different people, two different backgrounds. So your perspective on this issue is different,
different,
from mine.
yeah.
So okay, babe,
That's
I
okay.
understand where you're coming from.
Thank you.
Do you also? No, I'm not speaking to you. Do you also understand where I'm coming from? So we can see that we're not against each other.
Against each
Against
other.
each
We're
other.
the
This is
same.
the situation, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so your points can work like this. My points can work like this on a different context. Okay, that's fine. So we found a solution.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
let's move on
Yeah.
and do something else. So at
I
the
had
end of
this
the day-
friend. I had this friend that it was his parents' marriage and union that it just intrigued me. And it intrigued me in a way that made me say, if I was ever going to get married, and this is not something I'm recommending for everybody, I want to do business with my partner. I'm that type of person. I want to build, I want to grow. I want, aside from having a family, I want our wealth to be our own. And his family was able to do, his parents especially, they had something they usually do anytime they almost wanted to get into an argument. I was privileged to this. They would sit down and say, okay, there's me, there's you, then there's the problem. So let's fight the problem.
Yeah.
There's me, there's
Yeah.
you. And it's this problem that is
That
against
is
me
not
and you.
you.
So it's not me against you.
Yes.
It's me and you against this
I like
problem.
that.
We have this message here from Blessing. She says, how do I know who is the person that is supposed to who is the person that is supposed to trigger the conversation of igniting the spark? Like, how do I know who is? Is it me? Is it my husband? How do I know he's supposed to bring up the conversation of igniting
Okay.
the spark?
Yeah. It can be anybody.
Exactly.
Especially if it's you that is really concerned about it, because the other person might not even see that there's a
That's a
problem.
problem.
Yeah, the other person might not see. I mean, I've been in a situation before where when I told my husband earlier on in our marriage,
Yeah.
I think that we need to see a counselor. My husband looked very surprised because,
He's like, what is happening?
like, what? How? Where? From where?
I have one interesting question. Were you a counselor at the time?
No. I wasn't.
Okay.
Even counselors need counselors.
Oh, I know.
Yeah,
I
even
know.
counselors need
Yeah.
counselors. I mean, it's recommended.
Yeah.
So, but at that time, he felt everything was very okay. So his surprise was not the counselor saying, but the fact that
Oh, you think we
I
need
feel
help?
like we need help, like there's something wrong. So it's you that knows that there's something wrong that should find the solution.
yeah.
Because the other person might not know his own. So we bring up the conversation and they're not saying that, oh, okay, I didn't know you felt like this. So if you are waiting for the other person, you might be on a long term.
And I also believe when it comes to these relationship things that it's important to be in love or be in a relationship where it is safe to speak how you're feeling.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people are in relationships where they don't necessarily feel safe to
Safe,
say how
yeah.
they are feeling.
And that's because they're either because your partner should bring out the best in you, not the beast in you. We sort of all have the tendencies of, like I would say everyone has that toxic trait, but how you react to a situation or how you were able to balance your emotions or reaction to an action is what we now talk about emotional intelligence. You're
Yeah.
not putting a maturity to the situation. So if your partner is not bringing out the best in you, that's where issues like that come up. And that can also really trace back to a background of
Yeah.
you also not like we've been saying, telling your or teaching your partner how you want to be loved, because some people just don't know how you want to be loved. They're just giving you what they know, the best of their knowledge. So they could also assume that they know you. So if there's no up-to-date weekly check-ins, they can also think that, oh, I thought it's just 5 friends you have, and you're like, no, I've made new friends. We're not checking in, we're not constantly communicating. So I think it's never too safe to assume your partner. Always want to check in with them. What's something new? Have you made new friends? Even your friendship goes, there's something going on.
Things you used to like before, you've stopped liking it.
So why you used to knit before, you used to make music,
I
you used
don't
to
like it again. As in, for instance, I used to love to cook. I still cook, so but not spending my whole time in the kitchen. I don't like that anymore.
You've moved on. You're a different person now.
So if I want to do something special, I enter the kitchen and do. But spending time like before that, any small thing, I'm in the kitchen every time. I'm like, no, I don't like it anymore.
Okay, so in 6 seconds, because we got to wrap up. What's your heartfelt advice for someone who is unsure if they're with someone who they're so in love with, or they're just in a routine? What would you tell that person to do?
Okay, so I would say that we know why you are feeling that way. We talked about self-awareness. So know why you are feeling that way. There must be some things that you are seeing or you used to see before that you are no more seeing, or some things you are now seeing that you don't like and stuff like that. So once you are able to know exactly why you are feeling that way, you probably know that, okay, I think we're no more in love, and then you start to, so it's not, but falling into routine is not bad, because sometimes routine that will let you know that we should go on a date today, we should pray together at this time, and all those things. So routines are good, but
I said that to him yesterday. I said it's the neglect, it's the emotional neglect. Okay, so your partner is not there. It's not necessarily that you put doing a routine together that is a bad thing. That's not the enemy here.
So it's okay. But what you just need to do is, okay, let's rebuild. It's an opportunity for reinvention. So you even get it new again. So try new things, start to do things together, have conversations that we've talked about that, then try new things. We talked about dating and all those stuff. Put an element of surprise in some of those things that you do. Play games together, have fun, just intentionally do the things that you've stopped doing, really. But by the time you start to do, and I should also say that if you've actually fallen into routine, it's not like it's going to come back just like that immediately. It's gradual. So, but with intentionality, with those conversations, with putting in the work, with all those things, you just see that gradually they are coming back up. And I also want to say that another reason why people fall into routine, or it feels like there's no more spark and all that, is probably resentment, or maybe emotional hurts or wounds and stuff like that. So you might need to check that out as well. And maybe unforgiveness, something has happened, you talk about it and then resolve it. So once you resolve it, you are able to start to rebuild again. Because that's when you'll be able to say, okay, we want to go out, we want to have fun, we want to do this
because
together.
If you're even doing all those going out, having fun, but there's
something
something eating you inside,
you won't be able to get to the place where you need to get to. So just put all that in place, and you see that it's getting better again.
I think this deserves a round of applause.
Thank you so much, Coach Toby, for being with us on this journey.
You're far too kind. You're far too kind.
And really just dropping gems, really enlightening us, uncovering, and of course sharing your personal experience as well. That is so beautiful. Some people will just come give examples, but you also giving us some, lifting from your marriage just really shows how authentic this conversation has been. And I'm sure that family members who listened from wherever you were listening from, you picked up 1 or 2 or 3 things to write down. So even if you're single, just like as I am, we're already building. We're building for that relationship that, we're equipped and we're full of why are you laughing now? Because you're in a relationship. Leave us. Justice for the single people. But we're learning. And becoming that woman. Yes.
By the time you get into it, you just see that you're a pro.
You're cruising.
Well, thank you so much. It was such a beautiful
Thank
time.
you so much, Coach Toby, for first of all, such a beautiful voice, because your voice is very soothing to listen to. And also for sharing tips on love and how to do relationship well, because I think there are a lot of young people that don't have this advice accessible to them. And more often than not, when the advice comes, it's coming from people that they either resent or they don't look up to.
Yeah.
You understand? If someone that you don't feel inspired by is giving you an advice,
you
you
tend to
don't
believe,
necessarily,
yeah.
But what we try and do on the show is we just try and be as relatable as possible so that the messages we are sharing can be actually imbibed in by the people listening. So thank you
Yeah.
once again.
Yeah, thank you too. Thank you for having me. I just wanted to mention this, that sometimes, some relationships are in a very, not so good place.
Critical
that,
stage,
like,
yeah.
you can't help yourself. Some people, it's not as if they don't know what to do, but they can't just help. They just feel helpless because of all the things that have happened. And that's where therapy comes in and
Yeah.
counseling. Sometimes
Yeah.
you need to get help, professional help. And of course, that's where we come in. But there are a lot of professionals around that
Yeah.
can guide you, that can help you. Don't just give up because, you just feel like, no, it's
I'm
too
done. I'm
bad,
not doing this
done.
again.
No,
Yeah.
don't give up. Try everything you can try. Get
Yeah.
help.
Yeah.
There's help out there for you. Yeah.
All right. So what's
If
your social
we
media?
want to reach out to you.
Exactly.
Our family members want to reach out to you and
Okay.
say, Epo, my relationship is crumbling, it's starting again. How can they find you on socials?
Yeah, so I'm Tobiloba Grace Maid or Grace Maid Family Institute across board.
Yeah. Toby Loba Grace Maid Family Institute,
Yeah.
Instagram, X, and YouTube as well.
Yeah, YouTube. as well.
Fantastic. Thank you so
you
much for
so
doing this. And when we have other relationship problems, we'll call you.
Okay, when he has other relationship problems, I am picking the gems for my Odogu. Leave me alone.
Stop
A
saying you're looking
disclaimer,
for an Udogu.
please.
I'm here. I'm here. Stop
You
it,
and
baby.
who?
Stop
No,
it,
I'm
baby.
not your baby.
Let's
Now,
enjoy
Odogu
good
is
music.
listening.
Let's enjoy good music. The switch has come to an end, but
Yes.
Lagos Live starts in a few moments.
So this is me saying my goodbyes because, guys, I've got to go. And tomorrow I'm catching flights, not feelings yet.
Where are you traveling to tomorrow again?
I mean, who knows if maybe on the
You will
place if I'll
see
meet my
Odogu.
Odogo. Well, I'm thinking going to one island. I'm looking for an
Ele.
island to go to.
Bora
I'll let you know.
Bora. Santorini.
I'll let you know. But family members, I'll be back on the weekend, 8 a.m. on the weekend vibe. So make sure to stick around with your girl. But from now, it's all love from me to you. Have a